Hey guys, what's up? And I'm finally back with the next part to. I'm not the next part, the next series in my What If channel, which is What If Naruto was a generational genius but he was neglected. So, yeah, it's been a week, guys. Um, I hope you can get my channel to 1,000 subs soon in order to open our community. And I have nothing much else to say, so let's get started. So this is what it starts when Kushina gets pregnant, right? Kushina has twins. When she goes to the hospital, the healers tell her that she has twins, and one of them is Naruto, and one of them is Menma. These are already the names that they decided, and I know this is not an original idea because many people have done it before, but it's convenient because Menma is kind of like the perfect name to take, because of the Menma dimension in the regular original Naruto series and stuff. So yeah, and I'm not gonna make Minato and Kushina like really like actually evil in this one because I really like their characters and I don't want to do that to them. I respect them a lot, and Kushina best milf, So anyways, and even Menma, I don't like want to make him like too bad, uh, and at least like in the future because I actually like Menma's character a lot in in the original Naruto series, like the Menma dimension, like the thought of like a smart Naruto, that was pretty cool. Anyways, so basically the Nine Tails attack happens in the same way, like Obito, he comes and he grabs Naruto, and he does the same threat, like give me the Jinchuriki or your son dies and stuff like that. So yeah, Minato saves Naruto, and the same thing happens. But then Minato and Kushina survive. Okay, so how does this happen? Minato collects the dispersed QB chakra that's around the village. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this filler arc where there's this other Nine Tails Jinchuriki because you know this guy, he went and collected all the dispersed chakra of the Nine Tails around the Hidden Leaf Village and sealed it into this kid called Sora. But anyways, that's just me digressing. Minato just collected that chakra and sealed it inside Kushina, and he split the Nine Tails between Menma, who gets the Yin half, and Naruto, who gets the Yang half. And Yin and Yang actually just represent different aspects of what exists and stuff. And it's not like a nice side and a mean side, but like some YouTubers think it's like a nice side and a mean side, but the Yin side actually did seem to be a bit more cooperative according to the anime. So I'm going to give Menma the Yin side because we have to make Naruto suffer, so he gets more power and stuff. Yeah, and Minato and Kushina still get stabbed by Kurama's claw, but since Kushina got some of the 90th chakra back, um, she can survive for longer, and since Minato didn't use a Reaper Death Seal, he can also survive for longer. So he just used the regular 8 trigrams double tetragram seal that he uses in the regular anime to seal the QB inside Menma Naruto. Like the Minato and Kushina basically passed out from the pain and the blood loss, and Hiruzen found them like a few minutes later, and he took them to the hospital, and he took Naruto and Menma under his custody. So at least until Kushina and Minato get better. So yeah, and Danzo, he wanted to take over, as this would be like the opportunity, like while the Hokage is incapacitated, he could take over, right? Because like Danzo wants to be the Hokage, but he knew that it would be suspicious if Minato and Kushina were killed or their healers somehow failed to treat them, because their injuries were treatable. Like even though they're pretty bad, they're still like not completely critical. So uh, like Danzo, like even though he's like really evil and stuff, at least like the way he's portrayed is that way. He actually had he actually did what he thought was best for Konoha. So like everything he did was for what he thought was Konoha's benefit. So he wanted to like keep Konoha's stability. So stability. So he wanted to make Minato and Kushina heal early. So he made his route Anbu secretly give experimental drugs made by Orochimaru to Minato and Kushina to speed up their healing. And a side effect of these that Danzo did not know of was that the drugs erased a part of Minato and Kushina's memories. So they forgot all about the pain and the suffering of being a Jinchuriki, like especially Kushina, right? Like she also like was ostracized by the village and stuff, but she forgot about all of that. And Kushina was, she also forgot that they both forgot that Kushina was the Nine Tails Jinchuriki before. They thought that the Nine Tails was just it had a contract with the masked man. So they also forgot that Menma was a Jinchuriki, and they thought that only Naruto was a Jinchuriki. And Minato also forgot about Jiraiya's ideals about ridding the world of hatred and stuff. And the drugs also had the Orochimaru's curse marks like effect of amplifying negative feelings like hatred and stuff like that. So when Minato and Kushina regained consciousness like a couple of weeks later, uh, Hiruzen and Danzo came up to them and asked, who the Ninetales Jinchuriki was. So I'm just going to say that the Ninetales was sealed in such a way that its presence cannot be noticed, so the seal cannot be noticed, right? So they couldn't tell. So Minato and Kushina just told Hiruzen that it was Naruto because they didn't remember Menma being the Jinchuriki. So yeah, and Hiruzen, and Danzo made like a mental note of that, and they went away. So like they returned Naruto and Menma to Kushina and Minato, and when they started living as a family, like first, Naruto and Menma were like treated equally, but Menma was, more outgoing, a more knuckleheaded, like more like the regular Naruto, like in from the original series. Except like he wasn't like um, how can I say this? Like he wasn't as peaceful as Naruto. So but Naruto was quieter and more reserved, like rarely showing any emotion because most of the time he was like deep in thought because he's a generational genius. So Minato and Kushina like slowly got some PTSD from the Ninetales attack, and the curse mark also and the curse mark drugs also started affecting them. So they started hating the Ninetales, and this later began manifesting as a neglect towards Naruto because their hatred towards the Ninetales was rubbing off on Naruto. So like before this, Naruto did live a nice life, but now he began seeing how his parents love Menma more, and they always make Naruto do all the housework while having fun with Menma. So um like while Naruto's cooking or like cleaning or something like that, they would just be playing around with Menma and doing a little bit of showing him a little bit of their skills, stuff like that. And as a result of this, like Naruto, he learned like essential life skills like cooking, personal hygiene, laundry, first aid, fetching groceries, and other stuff to run the house, and patching up worn clothes and stuff like that. So and all of this he learned by the age of 4, right? So because he's a genius, right? So he can learn things fast. So right now Menma was like a lot stronger than Naruto because he did a little bit of training with in taijutsu with Minato and Kushina. And when Naruto asked them to train him, they would always refuse and tell him to do another show to distract him. And sometimes they'd even like slap him like really hard. They'd be like, "How dare you, demon? How dare you ask us to train you?" And they're like, "No, how do you think you even have the right to ask us that? Us letting you live in this house is enough for you." And this like really saddened Naruto, but he just get on with his life. And while all of this is happening, like all of this crap with his family, whenever Naruto could, he would read a lot of books about shinobi history, how the shinobi system works, science, like basically the chakra network and all that stuff. And he would also read Jiraiya's books, and not the Makeout series ones, but the ones like the Tale of the Gutsy Ninja and stuff like that. Where he could like see Jiraiya's ideals and stuff like that. Uh, so basically, Minato had these because he was Jiraiya's student and all of that. So he kept Jiraiya's books around, and Naruto developed in like an insane wisdom for his age by reading all of this. And in fact, he would actually like lose sleep reading these because um, like his daytime would be consumed by doing housework and stuff. So Naruto basically became a housewife without even realizing it. And you know Kushina and Minato like weren't really aware of this, but they did depend on him because of Naruto doing all the work. Like if Naruto suddenly disappeared, they wouldn't be able to do anything. At least like they would have to like get like a servant or something. So yeah, Naruto only slept for like 1 or 2 hours a night, as and like he did this for 3 years. Uh, and this took his its toll on him, and he became like he started looking a little bit like Gara, like with the eye, uh, like dark circles and shit like that. So, um, yeah, and the reason why he was able to like read all of this stuff for 3 years, even though he's only four, is because like he's a generational genius. He could read since he was one. So you know, and Menma, he started reading when he was like 3 or 4, like how old Naruto is now. So Naruto is very wise right now. So yeah, and he is very intelligent. He could formulate battle strategies and stuff, but then like he didn't really have the skill to back that up. So yeah. Anyways, and like he and this was like and yeah, from the age of one, Kushina and Minato actually started making him do chores. Like from the age he started reading, he was also like doing the chores simultaneously. So yeah, and Kushina and Minato, like they wouldn't feed Naruto properly. They would eat their fill and continue eating for the whole week and give Naruto the leftovers. Sometimes if they got angry with Naruto, they would literally like throw the leftovers in the trash right before his eyes, and Naruto would dig through the trash to find some morsels that are still edible. So yeah, it was a pretty crap life, and Naruto grew like really thin because of this. But yeah, and then when Naruto got really hungry, with this kind of lifestyle, he'd try to go to some place to eat, but they'd always refuse to have him as a customer because it was bad for business. If they try to serve Naruto, like even if they like were okay with Naruto, it was just like uh bad because none of the other villagers would like eat there again. So uh and this was even true with Ichiraku's ramen shop, as Teuchi and Ayame knew that serving Naruto would be bad for business. So they just ignore Naruto pretty much. Um, and in this, what if I'm going to make Naruto be neglected by pretty much everyone, like all the adults at least. So So due to doing chores all the time, Naruto became like extremely physically strong for his age, and he was like academy upper class level, upperclassman level in strength, like second or third year academy student. So, but he's since he had no skill in taijutsu, like how Menma had, he'd still lose to Menma in a fight. So basically, this is why like Menma kind of thought he was a loser, and Minato and Kushina like they thought that Naruto had no talent, but they failed to see that this was because they refused to train him. So due to the neglect that Naruto faced from his family, they all kind of started taking him for granted, and one day Menma complained to Minato that he had no one to practice his taijutsu on. He was like, "Dad, you're teaching me all of this taijutsu, but who am I supposed? How am I supposed to hone my skills?" And Minato's like, "Hey, demon, help Menma with his taijutsu training. I want my son to be strong." And Naruto was like, "Since I am the actual son who's running the house, you might as well show some kindness to me." And Minato's like, because Naruto's pretty pissed at this kind of treatment, and he didn't want to become Menma's punching bag. So he was like, Minato's like, "What is that? Show kindness to a demon like you. Kushina and I are the reason you exist." And Naruto said, "If you weren't prepared to treat me how other parents treat their children, you shouldn't have even brought me into this world." And Minato kind of backhanded Naruto and beat him up until he could barely stand. And he then said, "Menma, my son, here, practice now." And Menma proceeded to beat Naruto until he fell unconscious. And even after that, he continued for hours, and he even used kunai to slash Naruto until Naruto was left unconscious in a pool of his own blood. And Naruto woke up in the morning, as he regained a little bit of blood, to see Kushina standing over him, and he his clothes were like soaked in blood, and Naruto felt this, and he felt his injuries, but his injuries are like partially healed now because of the nine tails chakra. So yeah, he was able to get up, but he was barely able to walk. And like when as Naruto blinked to see a bit more clearly, Kushina slapped Naruto straight across the face as Naruto fell back down to the floor, and Kushina told Naruto to clean up his mess on the floor. And yeah, this is like total unfair treatment. Like and if I was in that scenario, and I'm not even kidding, I would kill myself. And I'm not like trying to egg any of you on. Like if any of you think of such things, like it's don't do it. It's just like a bad place to be. And I'm not telling you from experience, thankfully, but just don't think of that. Talk to someone, and this is a really big problem. So yeah, get help to deal with it. So anyways, enough sidetracking. So yeah, and Naruto, like, who could barely walk, he didn't want any more problems. So you know yeah, he did as he was told, because like he was already injured. He didn't want to deal with Kushina trying to beat him up. So he limped towards a mop that was standing against a wall, and he mopped up his blood, and he cleaned up his own blood stains from the walls and the furniture as well. And at this point, like when Naruto was taking a walk outside his house just to get some fresh air, and he was like away from the villagers. He was basically like avoiding them, and they were also like avoiding him. And like at this point, the villagers didn't really like hate Naruto, but then they kind of saw that he was like depressed and stuff, and it kind of brought their mood down. And they would normally help a child like that, but for some reason they kind of held back. And this is the day that Danzo announced that Naruto is a Nine Tails Jinchuriki. So Instantly everything changed for Naruto. Naruto was actually outside and on his little stroll while he heard this, and the villagers, some of the villagers started coming up to him to beat him up, and then he was left in an alleyway, like bleeding to death almost, and he got up a few hours later, and then he tried to walk back to his house, but you know so basically, when he reached there, Minato and Kushina both slapped him, and they were like, "Did you get into a fight with the villagers, you demon?" And Naruto tried to explain, but then words weren't coming out of his mouth because of how badly injured he was. His throat was actually like um like someone stepped on his throat, like, so he wasn't really able to speak. And and Minato and Kushina slapped him and knocked him down again, and said, "Get out, you demon! We can't keep you in this house anymore. Uh, People are too scared to come here because of because of you being there. Because of you living here." And yeah. So Minato and Kushina, like, they kicked Naruto out because again, it was bad for business for Naruto to be in their house, and people, like, who wanted to come to the Hokage's house were too scared because of Naruto. So, uh, but Naruto was like, he wasn't able to get up right now. So Kushina and Minato, like, physically brought him to the door and literally, like, kicked him out as far as away as they could, and Naruto literally, like, landed in a forest. And he woke up a few hours later, and not a few hours, he woke up like a day later, as Kurama, like, kind of healed his injuries, as he kind of felt bad for Naruto, like, he really did, like, because he thought that even he didn't suffer as much as Naruto did, like, seeing his own brethren being sealed inside people, or like, being fought by Hashirama and stuff, like, he thought that he'd rather have that than the kind of life that Naruto's going through. So yeah, and like, Kurama still didn't, like, respect Naruto because Naruto wasn't that strong yet, but he had sympathy for Naruto, like pity basically. So Naruto, so he basically just healed up Naruto, but Naruto is still really injured. So he basically, like, limped through the streets, and people gave him dirty looks, and some were very happy looking at how injured he was. And the third Hokage was taking a stroll, but he noticed Naruto, and he backhanded Naruto, like, sending him flying into a wall, and he basically slid down and landed on his butt. And Hiruzen then, like, shot a fireball at him, like, burning Naruto's skin, like, covering him with, like, second-degree burns. And Hiruzen was like, "How dare you show your face to me? Luckily, I disfigured it so I don't have to see your true face again." And the third Hokage was, he also hated Naruto, as his wife was, like, Hiruzen's wife was, like, killed in the Nine Tails attack, and he blamed that on Naruto's birth weakening the seal. He, like, his way of thinking was like, if only that Myanmar kid was born, maybe that seal wouldn't have weakened as much. Because of Naruto, only because of Naruto, the seal weakened as much as it did, and the Nine Tails was, released. And he was like, I also heard that this kid is a big liability to Minato, which wasn't true at all. Like, Minato just told him that because, just made it seem that way because Minato also hated Naruto. And the third Hokage was, like, kind of disgusted with, like, Naruto not being grateful to, Minato and all of that, because he didn't know the truth basically. And also, I'm not going to make the third Hokage, like, and he's kind of like brutal and stuff, but then I'm not gonna make him like truly like evil and stuff, because the third Hokage, like, you just can't make him, that way, because he just seems like a kind old man, you can't really put visualize the third Hokage being evil, like how you can visualize with Danzo, or Sasuke, or even Itachi, even though Itachi is good. Anyways, yeah, so like when Naruto silently walked away from the third Hokage, he got up and he walked away, like, even though his skin was like completely burnt and stuff. He just like mustered up the strength to walk away, and now we introduce a new character who is a female version of Sasuke named Sasuke. So yeah, and this isn't an original idea, but then I have a really good idea for Sasuke's character. So Sasuke witnessed this and went home to tell her older brother Itachi about this. And Itachi was saddened, and he went looking for Naruto, because Itachi, like, no matter what you do to him, he's not gonna hate anyone. And other than Danzo, probably, because Danzo made him kill his entire family. But that's a very valid reason to hate someone. So uh and Itachi, like, he thought like a Kage since the age of 7, and he knew that Naruto is the hero of the village, and he was basically like the gate who protects them from massive damage that can destroy the whole village. And Itachi, like in any uh encounters he had with Naruto, he was always like kind to him and stuff. And by the way, Naruto was kicked out of his house like a few months after after he was after Danzo made his announcement. So um if I made him get kicked out the same day, forgive me. It was actually like a few months after. Like the villagers still beat him up and all that shit happened, but it was like a few months after. So when Itachi like met Naruto a few per chance, like at the market or something, Itachi would always be kind to Naruto and help him out. So yeah, Itachi was saddened by Naruto's predicament, and he actually wanted to go and look over and look for Naruto, because he wanted to make sure he's all right. And like while he was doing this, Naruto, like, with great difficulty, climbed the roof of the building, and he was like, "This is it. Seems that I was born at a wrong time. It's time to correct that mistake now." He then jumped off as a figure blitzed to catch him, and Naruto, like, he opened his eyes to see Itachi's face staring at him. And yeah, guys, if we didn't realize yet, female Sasuke will be the ship in this what if. And that's not the brilliant plan, don't worry. That's not a brilliant plan at all. That's just a plan. But I have good ideas for Sasuke. So anyways, um like, after a little bit of prodding, Naruto explained to Itachi and Sasuke how his life had been, being beaten half to death, like, every single day by his parents and brother, and taking care of all the housework while the others would laze around. Like, he was basically like a child slave, pretty much, and all of that crap. And Itachi, like, he was like infuriated with this, and then he actually like started to grow a little bit of resentment towards the village, but he still wouldn't like do anything to his village because he loves his village. So but then he kind of like started resenting the fourth Hokage, and how everyone treats Naruto. So Itachi took Naruto to his house to patch him up, because that's the least he could do, right? Seeing someone so injured. And first Fugaku, like, when he opened the door, he didn't even recognize Naruto because of all the burning from the fireball. He was like, "Who is this?" And then Itachi was like, "Oh, he's Naruto Uzumaki." And Fugaku's like, "Why did you bring the Nine-Tails brat to our house, Itachi? And what's wrong with him?" And Itachi said, I want to take care of him. The villagers are treating him like are the villagers are treating him terribly and injuring him every chance they get. And Fugaku's like, I'll not have the fourth Hokage's son in my house. That man made the Uchiha clan look incompetent by stealing the Hokage spot from me. And guys, by the way, Fugaku didn't resent Minato because he stole and because he was the Hokage instead of him. Like he wasn't like Danzo who wanted to become the Hokage instead of Hiruzen or something. He accepted the decision, but then um, because of his clan, wanting him to be the Hokage, he didn't like uh, want to like disappoint them pretty much, like as a clan leader basically. It wasn't like his personal desire for power. So anyways, Itachi then explained Naruto's story, and Fugaku was like, "Alright, fine. I'll allow you to patch him up this one time and let him heal. But after that, I want him out. Understand? We cannot be harboring the fourth Hokage's son. We're already in a tight spot with the Leaf Council." And Itachi nodded, as he knew the predicament of the Uchiha clan and all of that, because he did his studying and stuff. And he knew, and he agreed to Fugaku's decision, as he knew this was how much Fugaku was willing to compromise. It's better to not ask for more. So Itachi patched Naruto up, and he used like whatever little knowledge of medical ninjutsu that he had, because like Itachi like knew a little bit of medical ninjutsu, like obviously not Tsunade tier or something, but then like a little less than regular medical ninja. So Itachi patched Naruto up, and Naruto spent a week in the Uchiha house healing from his injuries. So during this week, he and Sasuke got a lot closer, and Sasuke started developing a little crush on Naruto because Naruto's really smart, and also Naruto's beatings left like a cool scar on his face. Should I do that? Should I make him have a scar? Nah, I'm not going to let him have a scar. Um, so, so basically, Naruto is just like cool and stuff because he is smart, and Sasuke found this really attractive, and she kind of had a crush on Naruto. Naruto didn't really reciprocate yet, because you know he just wanted to be a good guest and not really cause any trouble with the Uchihas, who so kindly um, yeah, healed him and gave him food every day. Like getting food even every day was a big thing for Naruto, because normally he would get food once a week, and that too they would have food like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And Naruto wasn't even like used to this because of his eating habits, like when he was still living with his parents, like with his real parents and stuff. So because like Naruto kind of considered Fugaku and Mikoto as his own parents for taking care of him so well. And um Fugaku actually like grew a soft spot for Naruto, and he wouldn't mind Naruto staying for longer, but then he knew that they can't really keep him because of the Leaf, who would like interfere soon. So but then like he always liked Naruto, and he was impressed that Naruto was actually smarter than how smart Itachi was at his age. So he was like, if only I could adopt Naruto. He would be such a great asset to the Uchihas. And like Fugaku also like cared about Naruto and stuff. And Mikoto, like, for since she was like one of Kushina's girlfriends, uh like basically she was best buddies with Kushina, and Kushina like talked to Mikoto about what a pain in the ass Naruto was and stuff. But after hearing Naruto's story, Mikoto was absolutely like horrified. You know Seeing and like getting like the full truth from Naruto, and she made like a vow not to like uh, interact with Kushina anymore because of what a bad parent she was. She still doesn't know that this wasn't Kushina's fault. This is actually because of the drugs that Orochimaru created. But then she still like vowed to herself, and yeah, so basically like all the Uchihas are basically love Naruto a lot, and Shisui and Itachi would like from time to time they would train Naruto in taijutsu, and they found out that Naruto's like when they train Naruto in chakra control as well. So they also like when they tested Naruto's chakra natures, they saw that he had all five chakra natures. And I'm going to tell you later why he has all five chakra natures. Don't worry, it's not like just me trying to make him overpowered like the previous series. But there's a reason why he has all five chakra natures. So um, Itachi and Shisui were like amazed at this because uh, the only people who they know have five chakra natures are Hiruzen and Orochimaru. So and I guess Kakashi as well because he has Sharingan and he can copy jutsus. So but um so yeah, so the only people they know were those three, but even them they actually like had only like one or two first, but they worked for the rest of them. But Naruto naturally had all five, and this basically like Itachi and Shisui were like, yeah, we have to train this kid. He's going to become extremely strong, and uh they both like, and like Itachi told this to Shisui, and the Shisui nodded, and Itachi and Shisui trained Naruto, and like in whatever they could train him over this week. So Shisui actually taught Naruto his body flicker, which was top notch, and he told Naruto to just like keep practicing it, and he'd get as good as him or even better in the future. So Naruto thanked Shisui for this, and Itachi taught Naruto Shuriken Jutsu, like throwing shurikens and kunais, and um, he gave Naruto like a lot of tips about that, and Naruto became really good at throwing shuriken because he's a generational genius. But since it's only a week time, I'm not going to make him learn too much. He just learned like a little bit of basic taijutsu and the body flicker and the shuriken jutsu. So yeah. So then like the fateful day came where where Naruto had to leave the custody of the Uchihas and go on his own. So as Naruto walked out thanking the Uchihas for their kindness, like he waved back at them, and they waved he waved at them and they waved back at him, and Naruto went off into the forest. And this was the forest of death. uh, so basically, he used body flicker to just get past the security and get straight into the forest of death. And he found like an unoccupied cave, and then he went inside. Uh, sorry about that. Like before he found this cave, he actually encountered a large bear that overpowered him and knocked him out. But before causing him any further harm, the bear just went away because Naruto injured the bear a little bit and it was in pain, so it had to go and recuperate basically. So Naruto then went into his mindscape and saw Kurama. So however, he sensed two other presences, and one was a bit menacing that made Naruto's skin crawl, and the other was warm and welcoming. And the two people then manifested in front of Naruto, and these people are Indra and Asura Otsutsuki. And like without Naruto being able to see them, they had like a psychic conversation between them, and I'm just going to say they can do this because they're crazy powerful. And come on. So, anyways, Ashura turned to Indra and he was like, "Big brother, why are you in the same body as me?" And Indra was like, "I found out Black Zetsu was manipulating me all along. That plan of my previous incarnate, Madara Uchiha. Even I wouldn't be stupid enough to think that that would work. And I'm the one who desires power. If only I could contact Madara while my chakra was in him. That's why I wanted to amplify my chakra and manifest inside the consciousness of this young one this time, so that I wouldn't, it wouldn't result in the same situation." And Ashra was like, "Oh, I did the same with mine as I sensed a growth in your chakra, big brother." And Indra apologized for all the trouble he caused Ashura and his reincarnates, and they had like their emotional reunion and all that shit. And the sage of six paths, like he could sense their chakras, like how they were interacting and stuff. And he was happy that Indra and Ashura were back together, and working together again. And he just drifted off. And yeah, so uh and Naruto, when he saw them, he was like, "Who are you?" So Indra, Ashura, and Kurama all introduced themselves, and uh, like Indra and Ashura tell them like the entire story about the Sage of Six Paths being their father, and their entire like hate war pretty much between them, and the reincarnates and everything. And Naruto was like, "Wow, you guys led a hell of a life." And then basically he just said something equivalent to that, like in a more like uh, stoic way. Like he was like, "Wow, you guys experience a lot of things." So that's basically like how he was. And Indra was like, "Yeah, but leaving that aside, it's nice to see that you're not an idiot like my little brother." And Ashura was like, "Your idiot little brother whooped your ass in our final fight." And then Indra like kind of got a vein sticking out of his head, and uh, he was like, "You want a rematch?" And Ashura was just like Ashura was about to respond, and Naruto was like, "You guys just told me your entire story, and you're trying to fight again." And Indra and Ashura like both like calmed down, and you know continued talking to Naruto. And like Kurama was thinking like, this must be the one that father was talking about. He has both of father's children, and I don't know if Kurama would call them brothers, but whatever. And he is a reincarnate of both of the old man's children. And he's like, "Yeah, and he has blonde hair and blue eyes, so he must be that child of prophecy." And Naruto, sorry, I didn't do that cool Kurama voice, by the way. I'll do it like for other, the stuff that Kurama says, but I'm too lazy to do that again. So, yeah, and so basically, Indra, he tells Naruto that he wants to train Naruto because he doesn't like seeing the villagers pick on Naruto so much, and especially his own parents. And Indra was like, "If I was there watching anyone do that to anyone, I would go and kill them." And Ashra was like, "No, no, that's extreme. Try to find a way to make peace with them." And they had a little argument, because Ashura was like always the pacifist, and Indra was like power, power, authority, and stuff, So Naruto just like smacked his head and waited for them to finish. And when they're finally done, you know, uh, Indra won the argument, and Ashura was like, yeah, I guess it's necessary to teach him to protect himself. And But Ashura was like, he's still a kid, so let him have fun. And Indra was like, I don't have time for that. You take care of that department. And Ashura was like, fine with me. And and Indra and Ashura, both of them started training Naruto. Like, Naruto would like Ashura more. Like, he would see Ashura more like a big brother figure, and he would see Indra like a sensei kind of figure. Um, and he would also like be talking to the Nine Tails, and the Nine Tails would like explain his entire story, and uh, he'd make friends with the Nine Tails because Kurama would be like, yeah, he's a child of prophecy, so I'll be nice to him and stuff. So um yeah, and then so basically, this is why Naruto has all the chakra natures, because he's the reincarnate of both Indra and Ashura, meaning he has a chakra of the Sage of Six Paths. So basically, Naruto, um he learns a lot of jutsus in each chakra nature, and uh he actually like uh, invents purple lightning, and he also Indra also said that once you unlock your visual prowess, you'll be able to do a stronger jutsu than that. And Naruto got excited, and in fire style, Indra taught Naruto the majestic destroyer flame. Yes, Naruto does learn that, and since he's a generational genius, he uses the principle of shadow clones to create like a huge amount of them, and greatly minimize the time it takes to train. So he also like Ashura taught him the Ashura Rasengan, and um, once Naruto was proficient in both earth and water style, Ashura taught him to combine the two and use wood style. And Naruto wasn't very proficient in wood style yet, and he would get more proficient over time. I'm not going to make him too overpowered, because a few of you had a complaint last time saying that Naruto was way too overpowered in the beginning. Like, it's fine if you make him like gradually get to that point, but then like in the beginning there's no point. But Naruto is easily like high Chunin level by now. um so yeah, he learns jutsus in all the in all the nature releases, and he also learns the Ashura Rasengan. He learns a little bit of wood style. Like, he can do like a wood binding, but he can't really do more than that. And and he also like activates his Byakugan. Like, Indra said like he was like, Naruto, I want to try something. Could you please flow your chakra through your eyes? And Naruto was like, yeah, sure, I'm on it. And then since Indra and Ashura taught him chakra control, Naruto's like not completely perfect at it, but he's like really good at it. So he can sense where his eye chakra points are pretty much, and direct chakra there. So he directed chakra there, and he unlocked the Byakugan. So Indra was like, "That's strange. For me, it was a Sharingan first. How come you have the Byakugan?" And Naruto was like, I don't know. And he was like, maybe since both of you are here. And Indra was like, yeah, that's a possibility. My father had the Byakugan first, and then the Sharingan, and then the Rinnegan. And Naruto was like, like Indra already told Naruto about the Sharingan, but he didn't tell him about the Rinnegan yet. And Naruto was like, what's the Rinnegan? And Indra told him all about what the Rinnegan is, what it does, and all of that shit. So Naruto's like, Oh wow, that sounds really cool to have. I hope I have it one day. And I was like, since me and my brother are both here giving you our chakra, I'm pretty sure you will unlock it one day. And Naruto was, pretty happy about this, and yeah, and basically like Indra couldn't train him in the gentle fist because he never knew it himself, right? So Naruto will find a trainer for the gentle fist, and I will reveal that to you later. But basically this kind of like concludes the training period. And by the way, during this since Naruto did befriend Kurama, Indra was like like Indra, he sensed like what kind of seal was there in Kurama's cage, and he was like, "Oh, you damn father! He had to put that kind of seal. The only one I cannot teach you to unlock." And Naruto's like, "What? You don't know this jutsu?" And Indra was like, "I. That's not the problem. I do know this jutsu, but you can't open the seal without the key." And Naruto's like, "What? A key? I haven't heard of that." And he has heard of a key, obviously, but then like he hasn't heard of a seal needing a key to unlock it. And you know, Indra was like, "Yes, your father, sealed the nine tails inside you and gave the key to someone else." And Naruto was like, "Well, who is it?" And Indra was like, "I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really been able to." Uh, I haven't really been able to sense what you sense, or feel what you feel until a couple of years ago. And Naruto was pretty curious, and um, he kind of like hmm like started thinking about who was close to his dad, and he thought of a few people like Jiraiya and Kakashi and people like that, because he knew that Minato was Jiraiya's student, and Kakashi was Minato's student. So he thought that it would most likely be either one of those two, or it could even be with Minato himself, or even Kushina or something. So Naruto was like, I'll deal with that later. And Kurama, like he could access like up to the eight tails of Kurama's chakra, because uh, Kurama wouldn't let any of his hatred pass through. But then the amount that he could handle was only one tail, because his body wasn't strong enough to handle the chakra of like eight tailed cloak Kurama. So eight-tailed Kurama cloak. So yeah, so this is the state in which Naruto enters the academy. And also Naruto knows the transformation jutsu, and the substitution jutsu, and also the clone jutsu. So basically, like from time to time he sends clones around to transform and gamble for money. And he uses the money that he gets from gambling to buy food and clothes and stuff like that. And sometimes like when this is not possible, he even like kills some of the animals in the forest of death, and finds some stuff in the forest, and makes some food out of it and eats it. And yeah, it might sound pretty gross, but survival. So so now Naruto goes to the academy, and like all the people, they give him like these stares of disgust and anger and stuff like that. So uh, Naruto just ignores all of them and sits in the only empty seat, which is next to a girl called Sasuke. So so basically, no, the reason why no one's sitting with Sasuke is because all the guys kind of like her, and they're too nervous to get close to her. And like they have a crush on her, and all the girls they are jealous of Sasuke getting attention from the guys, so they are they kind of hate her. So Naruto sits next to Sasuke, and um, they have a little chat, like, um, and Menma also likes Sasuke. So he was like, "Hey, demon, how dare you sit next to my girl?" And Naruto was like, uh, "If she's really your girl, you'd actually sit next to her, wouldn't you?" And Menma, got angry and tried to like hit Naruto, but then at that point the sensei came, like, the um, teacher in the academy. So, and this is a different guy from Iruka, because Iruka only came like the second or third year. So so basically, like, Sasuke and Naruto, like, they were like chatting and catching up and stuff, like, because they used to be friends, because Naruto used to play around at the Uchiha compound with like Sasuke, because they're pretty good friends. So yeah, and when the teacher came in, the class like grew silent, and Naruto, like, he didn't really like try to prank anything, or like be a bitch. So yeah, so basically, the academy teacher said that he was going to give them a written test for to gauge how intelligent they are. So so basically, he gave the papers, the question papers, out to everyone, and Naruto finished it within 5 minutes, and he submitted it to the teacher, and the teacher was like, "How are you done so quickly?" And Naruto was like, "They're all pretty easy." So, and the teacher got angry and just told Naruto to get back to his seat. So Menma, he was looking at Naruto in like disgust, and he was like, how did this demon finish before me? How dare he try to outshine me?" And then you know uh Menma, he chucked he chucked like an eraser at Naruto, and Naruto just caught it with two fingers and threw it out the window. And he turned to look at Menma, and Menma was like, "Hey, demon, give me the answers." Like, he was whispering to him, and Menma was like sitting right behind him, so yeah, he could do this without getting noticed. And uh, Menma was also like, "I'll get you back for throwing my eraser." And then Naruto just like shrugged and continued looking ahead. And then Menma got pretty pissed at this, but he couldn't really do anything because the teacher was there. So yeah, so Menma, he just continued doing his test, and um, the next day, the instructor, he said that Menma and Kiba were like scored really low, but not as low as Naruto, because the instructor, he made Naruto score zero on purpose. He just like marked everything wrong without even looking at it. So the instructor was like, "That's what you get for trying to act smart." And he was like, "That's what you get for trying to act smart, you demon." And Naruto just like shrugged and took his paper back. And Sasuke was like, this is not this is not you, Naruto. You're supposed to be like really smart. Remember when we were children?" And Naruto was like, Naruto was like, "It doesn't matter." And then Sasuke was like, can I look at your answers?" And Naruto was like, "I'll show you on the way home. We can just walk together after the academy, after our day at the academy ends today." And Sasuke was like, "Okay, fine." And she just got on with her day. and Menma and his like gang were kind of like poking fun at Naruto, like they were like, "Ha, you demon, you're so dumb." And Menma was like, "I can't believe I asked you to tell me the answers." And Naruto just ignored them. And so basically, Menma's gang was Menma, Kiba, and a few of the other irrelevant guys. So oh yeah, and Hinata, because in this what if Naruto didn't like come across Hinata, so he didn't like save her from being bullied, uh, and no one saved her from being bullied. So she just like continued like not interacting with Naruto and stuff. So uh, Hinata was also part of Menma's gang, and Hinata liked Menma. And Menma, he didn't like Hinata yet, like, in a romantic way, but, he was cool with her. Basically, like how Naruto was, but a little bit more affectionate towards Hinata. So, so basically, they kept, like, trying to bully Naruto, and then Naruto just kept ignoring them. And Sasuke was getting, like, really angry by now, and she was like, I'm gonna punch them. And Naruto was like, don't do anything, let the dogs keep barking. And Menma heard this, and he was like, so you say we're dogs, huh? And then he tried to land a punch on Naruto, but then um, Naruto just caught his fist and pushed him back, and Menma fell down. uh, he was like, uh, "How dare you do that to me, you demon!" But then the instructor came back, like he was on his break. So but so everyone's like forced to like sit down and stuff. So um, yeah. So so basically the academy instructor was like, now we're going to have a little taijutsu sparring session so that I can gauge your ability to fight. And so basically the he was like, you'll be divided into pairs, and then the winners will fight the winners until the finals. And you know when the last two people verse each other, they will uh, like the winner of the final match will be the strongest in the class as of now. So basically he divided the people into pairs. So first it was Naruto versus Hinata, Sasuke versus Sai, Menma versus Kiba, Sakura versus Choji, Hanabi versus Shikamaru, and Shino versus Ino. And yeah, guys, I added Sai and Hanabi to this group uh, because Menma's there, and I don't want him to replace anyone, so I added these two people. And in this timeline, Hanabi is actually Hinata's twin. So, and she's Hinata's twin that and they both like don't like each other because Hinata keeps getting jealous of Hanabi being a prodigy, and um, Hanabi, she doesn't like Hinata for um, and not like trying to be nice to her and stuff. When Hanabi tries to be nice to Hinata just like blows her off because she's jealous of her. So Hanabi doesn't like Hinata either. And yeah, and Sai, like he got permission from Danzo to join the academy because the class was like missing one student. So yeah. And so, anyways, so first match is Naruto versus Hinata. So Hinata tries to use her gentle fist because like Hinata in this what if is lot like Road to the Ninja Hinata. So like brash and arrogant, and dominating and stuff like that. So Hinata, like, she tries to um, use her gentle fist on Naruto, and she's a lot stronger than the original Hinata as well. So and then Naruto was like, too slow, and then he just like substitutes himself with a log, and then he goes behind Hinata and puts a kunai to her neck, and Hinata tries to do something, but then Naruto presses the cold edge of the kunai into Hinata's neck, leaving a tiny like cut. And Hinata was like, "I give up," and the instructor was like, "All right, you demon, release the hair of the Hyuga clan," and basically Hiyashi thought that Hinata was still like better than Hanabi because Hanabi used to train a lot on her own, and she didn't like train with like Hinata and Hiyashi. So he thought that Hinata was actually the prodigy. So Hinata was actually the heir of the Hyuga clan. So Naruto was like, "Hmm, whatever," and then he just walked away, and then Hinata got up and went away. So then next was Sasuke versus Sai, and Sai did his like ink drawings, and then Sasuke, she just used a huge fireball jutsu that evaporated all of the ink creatures, and also like burned up Sai's scroll. And Sai was like, he just raises up his hands in defeat, and he was like, "I give up." And the instructor was like, "Sasuke, I told you you can only use taijutsu, and how do you learn such a powerful ninjutsu?" And Sasuke just shrugged, and the instructor was like, I want a rematch, and this time it's only taijutsu that's allowed. And Sai, you can't draw your ring creatures either, because that is a form of ninjutsu. It's a ninja art. I only want to gauge your physical prowess. And Sai, grumbled, and because this wasn't his strong point, and Sasuke, was like, fine, whatever. And then you know she fought Sai hand to hand, and uh, she just like knocked him unconscious because Sai wasn't that good yet in physical combat. So yeah, Sasuke won, and the instructor pronounced Sasuke the winner. And by the way, in the previous match, the instructor had to pronounce Naruto as the winner because you know Naruto was like the entire class saw it, and it was pretty clear that Naruto won. And the like most of the people in the class, they were like muttering about Naruto. They're like, "How dare that demon beat that Hyuga, the heir of the Hyuga clan? He probably cheated and all that." So they're like muttering, and then Menma was fighting Kiba next. So Kiba did his like man beast transformation, and with Akamaru, and he tried to fight Menma, but Menma, he just like beat up Kiba, and in this, and then he actually learned like a Rasengan, but he could only do it with the Shadow Clone, and it was pretty small. So but it was enough to like knock Kiba unconscious. Uh, and the instructor, even though Menma used a Rasengan, which is ninjutsu, the instructor, knew that the Hokage and his wife, and the legendary Sanin Jiraiya were sorry, not the no, Jiraiya wasn't watching, just Minato and Kushina. So they were both watching this fight, and he didn't want to make Menma look bad because he might get in trouble for it, and so he just pronounced Menma the winner, and then like a few of the girls were like, "Oh wow, Menma's so amazing," and Hinata was just like, she was like, "Wow, Menma, you're so strong," and then Menma was like, "Thank you, Hinata, let's go," and next it was Sakura versus Choji, and Sakura got her ass beat by Choji, who did that partial transformation and human boulder, and he just like rolled on her, and Sakura pretty much like was knocked out instantly. And then it was Hanabi versus Shikamaru. So Hanabi was doing well until Shikamaru caught her in his shadow position because he has big brains. But then Shikamaru, being a gentleman, he was like, "Don't worry, you win. I'm out of chakra and all of that." The same thing he did with Temari, basically. So Hanabi. So then the proctor was like, "Fine, whatever. That kid isn't interested in fighting, anyways." And then so then basically he just declared Hanabi the winner because he didn't really like want to uh like bother Shikamaru because like he knew that Shikamaru would just say it's a drag. So Shino, next it was Shino versus Ino. So normally she would use her mind transfer jutsu, but that wasn't allowed. So she just like tried to fight hand to hand with Shino, but then she got her chakra drained with Shino's bugs. So Shino won, and Ino like kind of collapsed out of exhaustion. And then so next it was Naruto versus Sasuke, uh, Menma versus Hanabi, and Shino versus Shikamaru. No, Shino versus Choji. So so then it was so basically Naruto. So Sasuke like she fought hand to hand with Naruto, but Naruto's way faster than her. So he just like pinned her to the ground and was like, do you yield? And Sasuke was like, fine, I give up. I know you're stronger than me, Naruto. And Naruto just helped Sasuke up, and basically like just like helped her walk back to the crowd. So uh, Menma was like, how dare he defeat my girl like that? How dare he make her look bad? And then you know he was like fuming, but Hinata was like Hinata was also angry because Naruto was making Menma divert his attention towards Sasuke. And so basically she was also like, yeah, how dare the demon defeat her, the Uchiha prodigy and all of that. And then Sasuke gave them all a look, and then they all like shut up. So so then it was Menma versus Hanabi. So basically Menma used her Rasengan again to beat Hanabi, which Hanabi really had no counter to, and because she didn't really know rotation yet. So Hanabi was knocked out, and the instructor said Menma was the winner. Again, like he didn't call out Menma's use of ninjutsu. And Minato and Kushina were pretty angry at the instructor because he was, letting Menma do whatever he wants, and like even though they kind of hated Naruto, they still like had morals. Like if the other kids weren't allowed to use ninjutsu, then how is Menma allowed to, right? So they were going to like scold the instructor later. So yeah, and then next it was Shino versus Choji. And then so basically Shino uses bugs to drain out Choji's chakra and make him collapse, and Choji really had no answer to this, so Shino won that. But actually I'm gonna say that Choji's human boulder hit Shino and knocked him out as well, so it was a double knockout. So it was Naruto versus Menma next, and that was like the final fight. So basically Naruto, like when the fight started, Menma, he tried to use a Rasengan again, but then Naruto just bent his hand back and made his Rasengan attack him only. So basically like Naruto made Menma's Rasengan hit Menma's own head. So and this knocked Menma out, and this pissed off the academy instructor, and he was like, Naruto, how dare you you treat the Hokage son like that? And Naruto's like, if you don't know, I'm also the Hokage's son, and I didn't. I did everything that was allowed. I used only taijutsu to defeat him. It's only he who chose to use ninjutsu, and he got defeated because of it. And then all the other students except for Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, and Sasuke, they were like, how dare that demon make Menma lose? He cheated. And then Naruto's like, fine, explain to me how I cheated. And then they were like, no, you shouldn't be able to beat Menma. And then Naruto's like, that's not a good enough explanation. Just because you say I shouldn't be able to beat Menma, it doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to beat him. I did everything fair and square, and I beat Menma fair and square. So then Menma got up a little bit after this, and he was like, "How dare you take the limelight away from me? I'm the Hokage's son. I'm the child of prophecy." And yeah, Minato and Kushina told Menma about the child of prophecy thing, and they're like, "Since you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you're the child of prophecy." And they didn't even like think about Naruto being the child of prophecy. So, yeah, so Menma got his ego boost. So Naruto was like, huh, the child of prophecy isn't looking too strong after all. And he knew that Kushina and Minato were watching, so he blitzed over there and he was like, looks like your son needs more training. He he had to use ninjutsu to win all of his fights. What a loser. And then he just walked away, and Sasuke followed. And like and this was like the last period at the academy, so they were free to go home after that. So you know Kushina and Minato got like really pissed off at Naruto, and you know they tried to say something to him, but Naruto just blitzed out of there, so they didn't really have a chance to react. So yeah, and Menma, he went back with them, and he was like, "How dare that demon beat me? How can he be stronger than me?" And Minato was like, "I don't know how he's stronger than you. It's so sudden." And Menma was like, train me harder. I need to beat him." And then Minato just smiled and ruffled his son's hair, and he was like, but still, you weren't supposed to use ninjutsu at that test, just to prove that you can win. You shouldn't use ninjutsu in a taijutsu contest. And Menma was like, whatever. And then Minato also like scolded the academy teacher for letting Menma use ninjutsu, like letting Menma get off with using ninjutsu. So you know the academy student teacher just apologized, and said that since he's the Hokage's son, like he didn't want to upset him. So Minato's like, Hokage's son or not, he should treat all the students the same way. And the academy teacher just apologizes, and uh, gets on with his day. So so when Menma says that, shows like his attitude towards Minato just slaps him, and he's like, Menma, how dare you do this? And like, how dare you show me attitude? And Menma was kind of like sent reeling from the slap, and he's just like, he just stormed off in one direction, but Minato just blitzed up to him and caught him, and he basically carried him by the scruff of his shirt, and brought him back to his house, and disciplined him basically. So yeah. And by the way, with Naruto out of their house, like for the first few years, and like for the first year or Minato and Kushina, like they're like scrambling to complete all the housework, and they're like, wow, Naruto had that demon had such a workload, but he probably was able to do it because unlike us, he's a demon, and uh, they just like had to get used to doing it. And Kushina's cooking wasn't that good, and Men was like, "Come on, mom, what is this food? Even the demon can cook better than you." And then Minato slapped Menma, and he was like, "How dare you compare your mother to to that demon of your brother?" And Menma just apologized, and he continued eating. So basically, that's just like a little anecdote that happened. So yeah, um, actually, like when Minato went to the academy to watch the matches, he wanted to call Naruto back so that he could do the housework again. And but then he didn't really get the chance to tell Naruto to come back. So yeah, and he didn't even know like where Naruto would stay. Like um, he actually like tried to find him a few times, but to no avail. So because Naruto lives in the forest of death. So then yeah, and then the unfortunately the Uchiha massacre happens the same way, and Naruto sees Sasuke crying on that little bridge, and he goes and he's like, "What's wrong?" And he was like, "Is it the massacre of your clan?" And Sasuke was like, "Leave me alone. I want to be alone right now." And Naruto's like, "If you keep your problems bottled up, they only get worse. The only way you can feel some relief is if you share them with someone you care about." And Sasuke was like surprised that Naruto cared for her, because Naruto did like um, like tell Sasuke about like how his problems, like about his problems and all that, like with Minato and all that shit. So Sasuke was like, "Wow, Naruto, you care about me." And Naruto was like, "Of course I care about you. You're like the only person who treats me like a human." And Sasuke was like, and he was like, "I can't lose you." And Sasuke like teared up at this again, and she hugged Naruto and explained everything that happened. So and she was like, I have to kill Itachi. I have to get revenge on him." And Naruto was like, Itachi. I didn't think that he would do something like this. And Sasuke was like, "I know, me neither. But then looks like he was just playing a trick on us by pretending to be a nice person." And Naruto was like, "I've known Itachi for a week. I don't believe that he would do something like this without a better reason than trying to prove his own strength." And he was like, and he could have easily killed you too. uh, like there are a lot of people who are weaker than you that in your clan that he killed. And Sasuke like considered this, and she was like, "But my brother only wants me for my Sharingan. He said that I can turn it into a Mangekyo Sharingan so that he can get it, and upgrade his eyes into an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan." And Naruto, like, he already knew about all this stuff because of Indra and Ashura, and Kurama explaining stuff to him. So he was like, "I see, but I still don't believe that he would do that to his little sister without a reason." And he's like, I heard that even Fugaku, your father, had Mangekyo Sharingan, but but Itachi didn't take them. He instead killed his father when he could have easily gotten his eyes when you know before killing him. And then Sasuke was like, "Really? My father has Mangekyo Sharingan?" And Naruto was like, "Yeah, one time he showed it to Itachi. I was actually walking around nearby, but neither of them sensed me because I was hiding my chakra so that people don't pick on me." And so then Sasuke was like, then why wouldn't Itachi take those?" And Naruto was like, "I don't know. I believe that we have to try to figure out why Itachi massacred his clan. uh, his reason isn't good enough with what we know about the Uchiha clan." And Sasuke was like, "Yeah, I guess you're right. I've been blinded by my grief of losing my family. Thank you, Naruto." uh, Itachi might not be like as bad as we think, as bad as I think he is. So so basically, Sasuke's goal changed from revenge to trying to find out why Itachi massacred the clan. So basically, so basically, like Sasuke, she just like hugged Naruto, and Naruto's like, would you like to stay with me in the forest of death? Because you are alone right now. And Sasuke was like, no, no, of course not. Why would I want to live in the forest of death? Instead, you can come and live in my old house, in my house. And Naruto's like, are you sure? Is there enough space? And Sasuke was like, sadly, yes, there is, and because her family died. So then she was like, there are two separate bedrooms, like one where me and Itachi would sleep, and one where my parents would sleep. And Naruto took one of them, and Sasuke took one of them, and they basically were like roommates by now. So yeah, and yeah, so their lives continued, and Naruto would like ace every test in the academy, but the teachers would fail him on purpose. Like even Iruka, like Naruto never got close to Iruka in this timeline, and he wasn't friends with the ramen guy because it was bad for business. And you know so basically Naruto had no one except for Sasuke. So now you know um yeah, Iruka would like continuously give him zero, and you know uh Naruto, like, he really wouldn't care. He just like do what he could in the exam, but he would know that he actually got a good score. And by the way, like that time when Sasuke asked Naruto to show her his answers, she saw it and she was like, how is this even fair? How dare that teacher of ours fails you on purpose? And Naruto was like, it doesn't really matter. I know that I'm capable, and that's all that matters. And yeah, so Sasuke is just like, but Naruto, you have to get the score you deserve. And then Naruto's like, that really doesn't matter to me. And then Sasuke was like, all right, fine, I won't make a big scene out of it. So yeah, that's basically what happened that time. And yeah, and Sasuke keeps getting angry when the teacher keeps failing Naruto. And you know she actually like complained to the Hokage once, that who was Minato. Like she complained to him, and she told him what the academy teacher is doing. And Minato, like, he considers this, and he's like, even I hate that demon, but still, like, the academy teacher has no right to show favoritism to his students. And uh, but then, like, he doesn't really do anything about it because it doesn't really bother him that much. And then he just told Sasuke that he'd do something about it, but he didn't really do anything. He just said that, like, shut her up and make her go away. So Sasuke just, like, went away. And when the same pattern continued, she got angry, and she knew that the Hokage wasn't going to do anything, because Naruto told her his story by now. And uh, she knew that Naruto's parents hated him, and Naruto had no one except for her. So no one had Naruto's back except for her. And even like Shikamaru and Choji, like when they interacted with Naruto, they and even Shino, they knew that Naruto was pretty smart, and they also figured out what was happening with the academy teacher. So they told their parents, and their parents went to the academy teacher, and they beat him up. Because he was making a child suffer just because he hated him, like, for no reason. And the academy teacher was like, but he has a nine tails inside him. And they all were like, just because he has a nine tails inside him, it doesn't mean you treat him like a demon. that fox is evil, but Naruto's the only thing between us and the fox, and he's the one who's protecting us from the fox. Don't you see that? And this got through, Iruka. Like, it wasn't a random academy teacher; it was Iruka. So yeah, this got through to him, and he started like not hating Naruto as much. So basically, like, he started like giving him like like good marks. Like, he would always give him a passing grade though. And then Shikamaru and Choji still figure out what's going on, but then they didn't really like want to interfere because they felt that it was too much of a drag. And and Shino, like, he also like was like, yeah, these people never change, and he didn't really like do anything about that. And Naruto got along well with Shikamaru, Choji, and Shino, so he became friends with them as well. So yeah, and then he found out that they're pretty cool, so uh, so then, like, he would like to hang out with them, and Sasuke would also hang out with them. But his main friend, like his best friend, was Sasuke. So um, Naruto would spend most time with Sasuke. So, anyways, now to the final exams. Naruto like aces like a champ, and but then, like, of course, the uh, Iruka just gives him passing grades, and also Naruto like aces the transformation and the shadow clone and the clone jutsu. So yeah, and like, actually, like, when Naruto was asked, what to do the clone jutsu, and Naruto was like, what kind of clone do you want? And Iruka was like, what? Just do a regular clone. No, we don't need you to do any other type. And Naruto's like, okay, and then he just did the regular clone jutsu. And when he was about to go, Iruka stopped him, and he was like, are you implying that you can do other types of clones? And Naruto's like, yeah, any type. And this is because Naruto actually had all Kekkei Genkai, because he naturally had all five chakra natures. So he could like make a clone out of any of the Kekkei Genkai or the nature releases. So Iruka was like, fine, let's see you do this. Do an ice clone. And to his surprise, Naruto actually did it. And Iruka was like, impossible, and then but Naruto just walked away. So yeah, and Iruka passes Naruto like he is forced to, pretty much. And since Naruto got the lowest marks in the academy, Naruto is still with Sasuke, who got the highest. And Menma is like kind of like in the middle, like, but then he knows what's happening behind the scenes with the academy teacher, but he still like picks on Naruto because of it. So so basically, like, when the teams are announced, Iruka's like, Team 7, Naruto, Sasuke, and Menma. Your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi, Kakashi Hatake. And then Menma was like, why do you have to be in the team with this demon? And then this is actually Minato's plan, because he wanted Menma to, like, convince Naruto to come back to the house, because things were not going as like very smoothly for them because of Naruto not being there. But then Menma still hated Naruto, and he wasn't like told about this by his parents yet. The plan. So Menma was like, why do I have to be in a team with this demon? And Iruka was like, that's just how the teams were arranged. And then Naruto was like happy he'd be with Sasuke, but he was kind of pissed off that he'd be with Menma. uh, like, he thought that, if Shikamaru, Choji, or Shino was there, it'd be cool. And he was also like friends with Hanabi, because Hanabi noticed how much of a prodigy he was. So she also would hang out with them. So yeah, and so Naruto, he was also like, he was like, even like, Hanabi also would be fine, like, Arashino, Choji, and Shikamaru. And he was kind of pissed, but he was like, at least I got one of them, one of my friends in my team. So yeah, he was like just cool with it, like he was just sitting there, like, with an expressionless face. So Yeah, and then Iruka just moved on to Team 8, which was Hinata, Sai, and Kiba. And by the way, Men was also like kind of happy that he'd be with Sasuke because he likes Sasuke, and but he was like pissed that he was with Naruto, obviously. And his teammate was Hinata, Sai, and Kiba, and Iruka was like, your Jonin sensei will be Kushina Uzumaki, and Men was like, come on, they got mom as a sensei, and because like Kushina was nice to him, so he wanted Kushina to be sensei, but he was like, I guess their student works too. So yeah, so next was Team 9 with Sakura, Hanabi, and Shino. Who went into Kurenai's team? Like he was like, your Jonin sensei will be Kurenai Yuhi, and Team 10 is Choji, Shikamaru, and Ino, and your Jonin sensei will be Asuma Sarutobi. So yeah, and so basically like so the teams were announced, and the senseis came to pick up the genin. So basically uh, like everyone came, and Kushina said hi to Menma when she walked in, and she glared at Naruto, and Kurenai also, like, she didn't like Naruto very much, but she didn't like show it. And Asuma, he didn't really do anything. Like, he just was, like a pretty happy guy, as he always is, until he died. I'm not going to make him die. Don't worry, guys. So yeah, so and Kakashi, he comes like 2 hours later, and Naruto, Sasuke, and Menma were waiting for him. And Naruto and Sasuke were just like, just like talking to each other, and Naruto wasn't really like, you know, was kind of indifferent to Kakashi's tardiness, and Menma was really pissed off, and he decided to pull the prank. And so basically, right when Kakashi was about to come in, he prepared like a Rasengan in his hand, and he was about to shove it at Kakashi, but Kakashi just grabbed his hand, and he was like, "How dare you use such a lethal jutsu on your own sensei?" And Menma was like, I'm the son of the Hokage. I'm the child of prophecy. You can't tell me what to do." And Kakashi just like throws him back, and backhands him, and Menma flies into a wall. And Kakashi is like, you guys are all boring. And then so basically, yeah, and Menma just picks himself up, and yeah, and Menma was like, okay, I'm not gonna pull pranks with this guy again. And Kakashi is like, meet me on the roof, and then he body flickers to the roof, and Naruto and Sasuke do the same, because Sasuke knows the body flicker by now, because Naruto taught it to her. So, and they actually reach there before Kakashi does. So Kakashi goes, like, reaches there like a millisecond later, and he was like, "You guys are already here? How?" And Naruto was like, "Yeah, we just body flickered." And uh, Kakashi's like, "Wow, you guys are starting to interest me a little bit." And then yeah, Naruto and Sasuke just like sat down, and Menma came in like a minute later, like rushing at his top speed. And then he was like panting, and he sat down, and Kakashi was like, "Great, now that the entire team is assembled, tell me your interests." And Naruto was Kakashi was like, "Introduce yourselves, tell me your hobbies and interests, tell me your goals as a shinobi, and your dreams." And Naruto was like, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I enjoy training and spending time with my friends, especially Sasuke. And I dislike when people call me a demon, or when they try to harm me for no reason. And and my goal is to erase the hatred from this world, and make it a better place for everyone, and a place without judgment. And uh, and my dream is to become Hokage in order to do this. and Kakashi was like, that's a very nice goal, Naruto, and it's a pretty big one as well. So you have to work very hard for it. And Naruto was like, yes, Sensei, I know that. And Kakashi was like, all right, then now that that's over with, now to you. And he pointed to Sasuke, and Sasuke was like, my name is Sasuke Uchiha, and my likes are training and spending time with Naruto and my other friends. Um my goal is to become a strong kunoichi who equals Naruto in power and can fight alongside him and be his second in command when he becomes Hokage. And Naruto smiled at Sasuke, and Kakashi was like, "That's nice." And Sasuke was like, "I also my dream is also to find my brother and ask him and force him to tell me why he killed my clan." And Kakashi was happy that Sasuke didn't desire revenge, and he was like, I wish you luck in your endeavors." And Sasuke smiled, and Kakashi moved on to Menma. And Menma was a bit brash, like how Naruto was, and he was like, "My name is Menma Namikaze. Um, my likes are training with my parents and spending time with my parents, and beating up Naruto, and my dislikes are." And he was like beating up the demon. He didn't call him Naruto. Yeah, by the way, forgot. So yeah, and he was like, my dislikes are that demon over there, and 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 getting told what to do. And my dream is to marry Sasuke one day and become a great Hokage for this village. And Kakashi was like, "All right, that's a that's a dream." And Sasuke was like, "That's I'm afraid that your dreams aren't going to come true." And Menma got kind of angry and he tried to hit Sasuke, and Sasuke just blocked and just kind of like made Menma's bones vibrate, and Menma just like got scared and he sat down. And Kakashi was like, "Menma, how dare you try to attack your teammate?" And Menma was like, but she refused me. I'm the child of prophecy." And Kakashi was like, "Oh no, not a child with an ego." And he was like, "Anyways, you're all dismissed for now, and tomorrow morning I want you to come early at around 6 a.m. and you cannot eat anything, otherwise you will puke. I'll prepare a little test for you in order to see uh, whether you're worthy enough to become my students." And then you know uh, like Menma and Naruto and Sasuke both knew that this was bullshit because Shinobi had to eat in order to regain their chakra and fight effectively. So they were going to eat anyways. But Menma, being the fool he was, he just like um, he just nodded and um, went on with his day. And Naruto and Sasuke body flickered back to their house, and Menma just walked back to his house. And Kakashi was like, that's an interesting team, but that Menma brat is so arrogant. I have to change that about him." And you know, and Kakashi just walks back, and then the next day arrives, and this is where I will be leaving this part off. And yeah, I know it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but next part will be the bell test, and we'll see what happens from there. So yeah. Uh, so I hope you enjoyed this part, and if you did, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And I want to make the channel like big as soon as possible. So and I do work hard to create the content, guys, and it's really hard to have all the other what ifs I want to do in my head, and continue doing a single what if, because I want to complete that and not be like other YouTubers who stop midway. So yeah. um but then you guys have to show me your support. So since this is the first video with like goals, I'm going to set like a really small goal. I'm pretty sure you guys will cover it like instantly. It's just 5 likes for the next part. So if you guys want the next part, hit 5 likes. And thanks for watching, guys.